everyone, Oshino here, and welcome to the episode 6 of Wild County. Today is a great day. Actually, I don't know why it is a great day, but I want to say that anyway. So, it's been a while, and basically this time we're gonna build some of the thing I was talking about last episode. I had a few ideas left in my head for the alpine theme, so we are gonna develop the area around the wooden roller coaster you're seeing right now. And I said there will be a restaurant and a shop, and today is gonna be the building of the shop itself, using some of the ideas I had. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Okay, so first we're gonna start by deleting the front area I designed the last time, to improve it a little bit, because it was going straight from the exit of the roller coaster, and as a result created a bit of a large depth, which was way too large to build some stuff around and create a kind of a nice area with the central plaza, which is going to be the case. So I had to redesign this in order to have a better shaped area, which would help me to build everything around it afterwards. And we are starting the shop. So basically, obviously for a shop, we are starting from a shop, just to get the right grid, and then we're gonna start building around it, as you can see right now. So the shape of this building is something I wanted to try for a while right now. It is basically, as usual, you need to get some tricks in order to avoid having some just cube-shaped buildings, which are quite boring. So one of the tricks is actually using some depth to it. So I wanted to have the bases, narrower than the first and second floor, as it's going to be a 3-floor building. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to see the second floor is going to be thicker and larger than the first one. And that's going to give some interest to the building without too much effort already. Also, I changed the color. I decided this one is going to be a kind of a salmon pink, orangish. Anyway, pretty light red, to change from the white we've been doing so far. And the rest of the buildings of the area also are going to have some different main colors, to give some different touch to everything. So the building is a bit irregular, as I wanted to have some kind of a space between the stairs of the roller coaster and the building. So there's kind of a half of a squared space, which is giving me a lot of trouble actually while building this thing, but anyway, I'm dealing with it the best I can. And customizing a little bit some columns here to give again some interest to the thing. Nothing too complicated, just two different pieces added together in a repeated sequence. And already putting some texture to the first floor. The things are gonna evolve quite a bit from the beginning. As you see right now, it's gonna be changing a lot during the process of building this, but it's all good. On this video, it looks like I know exactly what I'm doing every time, but actually this is not the case. I didn't know even once what I wanted to do in detail. I have, of course, maybe a kind of a direction or general direction when I start something, but I always have to search for ideas as I build the whole thing. So it actually takes quite some time to find the right fit, and decorating this thing and giving it some interest is been a little bit of a problem. But I'm very happy with the result, which you're going to see in a few minutes. So yeah, basically this is the total height and global shape of the building without any decoration or anything yet, but just adding the height and the roof, to be working on the details afterwards. I think you know the drill now. something I kind of kept in common with the station is these kind of wooden pillars that go through the roof, which are going to have some lantern on the top of it, which is a good support to put some lights that are going to lit up the roof. I don't know if it's very useful, but at least it's pretty nice to look at, and it gives some interesting lighting to the roof without being completely unrealistic. So I kind of like the idea, and to some extent this building reproduces this system. We are doing some balcony for the third floor, some kind of a central balcony. As for this building, actually I did only check a little bit of images to get some inspiration on the alpine theme, but actually everything on this building is pretty much inspired by nothing. Kinda, I just did it as I wanted to do it. There's only one thing that I got the idea from an image, and I kind of reproduced it, and then I improved on the idea. You're gonna see, I'm gonna talk about that when we reach this point. I never know which window I need to choose for my buildings, but the ones I put on the second floor were actually quite fitting with the atmosphere already, so I was like, this is good. I don't need to touch much these things. They were already fitting very well with the rest of the building, so that was a kind of a lucky pick. I decided to take on the first floor the windows that are already used in the main building, because, you know, to give some logic to it, obviously, and they worked earlier, so why not on this building as well? I wanted to keep the first floor different from the rest of the building, so these windows are only used on this floor, basically, and I'm using those other windows, which are unique to this building, on the rest of the walls, and doing some custom, some simple customization to the window for the rest of them, like creating a kind of a custom balcony. As nothing we had on balconies, we are pretty limited in choice, was very fitting in my opinion. So I created this kind of a simple wooden balcony, which in the end fits pretty well with the thing, I suppose. As you may have noticed before, I kinda like the contrast between the white wood and dark brown wood, so I also use that idea of contrasting those two colors on this building. It's gonna be even more obvious at the end of it, but I've already started to put some elements in reference to this. So yeah, this is one of the core ideas of the building, I guess. Okay, and we are almost reaching the point I was talking about earlier. The idea of what I saw on the image on the web is actually, you see that wooden structure I'm putting at the front of the roof. I saw that some building in the mountains have this kind of wooden thing that is separated from the building and just hanging above above nothing pretty much, hanging from the roof itself. And I wanted to reproduce this, but where I kind of completed with my idea on this, built pretty much on this simple concept, is I wanted to have, you see with the perspective, I want to create a drawing using the background and the foreground, and I thought that would be a pretty good result for the thing. Probably my favorite thing for this building. And I'm adding wooden poles just to give some realism to it, so it's not just hanging from nothing and nothing is holding it together, so I added those. And adding some small decorations on the roof as well. And as the decoration of the building is pretty much over, I was adding more on this concept of white and brown, as I said earlier. So this is the time I kind of decided to change some stuff, the colors of some stuff, to get that concept a bit more present on the whole building. And this is basically finishes of the roof and not primary walls. I guess secondary walls are not that important. And yes, just some more simple details on the roof to finish off the appearance of this shop. And as usual, some light to finish off. So for once I didn't want this shop to be an empty shell, so I decided to create a second floor to it, basically a second floor inside, kinda hidden. It's not really hidden in the end, but I kinda wanted it to be a little bit discreet. So it's going to be reachable from the exit of the roller coaster, and it has stairs that is going to be exiting at the other side of the plaza, so it also gives more interesting details to the plaza and more ways to go. So it's also the opportunity to do something I didn't do that much in the game so far, which is basically creating indoor spaces and decorating them. So I wanted to have more shops inside the building itself, so that's what's going to happen at the second floor with 2 added shops. So it's going to be just a memento, and if I remember well, the hat's fantastic. Yes, and the shop at the bottom, which we built at the beginning, is a balloon store. So it's only about goodies, as we are keeping all the food and drinks for the restaurant building, which is going to go on the other side. So just finishing the core of the setting of the second floor of the indoor space, and I wanted to have that seating area, the 2 shops, but also a sitting area to drink and not to drink. Well, if you have something on you, you can drink and eat stuff, but it's not going to be sold on site, obviously. The smoke you see on the wall is actually coming from the station, which is just on the other side of that wall. So this is only framing, what I would call framing, the whole thing outside and inside. It's a bit of a painful thing to do because it's always the same thing. You have to get the frames around the doors and on the walls to start having something interesting inside before like the interesting touches of decoration. And this is some columns I wanted to do at the center. once again sticking with the same theme as the roller coaster itself, so it is also kind of some storage area just like the coaster itself, so nothing too fancy in this area, I guess. And to finish it off, some lights, as it can get pretty dark at night without any lights, especially inside. So putting actually quite a lot of them in order to get some warm lighting that was like good enough for an interesting indoors space. And basically this is it for the shop itself, as you can see inside. The final decoration and the final adjustments. And then this is the painful part where I had to create some kind of a roofing just for decoration purposes. I didn't want to have the people just seeing the big roof, the big naked roof of the building from the inside, which was not that good looking, and I didn't want to have the walls going all the way up, which was like difficult and annoying to do anyway for this limited space. Finishing off with the stairs going out from this second floor. And as the last thing of this episode, I am just changing the texture of the bottom half of this thing because I wanted to have more of a rocky feeling for it, a bit more rough and more like mountain inspired basically. And this is it for this episode 6. I hope you enjoyed it. And as usual, if you enjoyed the contents of my video, I strongly advise you to subscribe to my channel as usual. You can also check the earlier episodes if you have missed any. And leave a like, a comment, I always appreciate them. Keeps me going. Thank you very much, and I see you in the next one.